Well, hello out there.
You're Lee.
And you're Irene.
And this
is Wellness Unfiltered.
Yay!
And we're back. A massive cabinet welcome to everyone tuning in today. You're listening to another episode of Wellness Unfiltered, the pod where we tackle the big, the small, and the what the of wellness and beauty.
So much what the, right? If this is your first time joining us, the vibe here in the cabin is so chilled and simple. It is all killer and no filler commentary with zero judgment. We've got our usual segments coming up, everything from our deep dives to the quick fire rounds. But today is a little extra special because we have a very special guest here in the cabin today. And to build the excitement, I'm not going to tell you who it is until later.
Fiona Tuck. Well, but before we dive into the juice, let's check in with each other. And can I say, I've been getting especially chilled vibes from you lately, Irene. You seem really at peace. Still fiery, thankfully, but kind of surrounded by butterflies somehow.
I think it's all of the cicadas outside the cabin here. It's so calming. And how about you, Lee? What's been going on in your world?
I've been doing a lot of things. I've been doing a lot of sort of fresh touches to my house up in the Northern Beaches. I've been tidying. I'm always tidying because I'm a Virgo, you know me. Anyway, I've got this understairs space that I'm going to transform into a cute little reading nook. So I bought a chair for that. It's going to be super cute.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I've got a spot just like that, and it's where I just put all the junk.
Yeah.
It's one of those cupboards that you just can't open the door on. Everything falls out. I'm literally the opposite of Virgo.
Honestly, I'm still thinking about this podcast a lot too. It's really fun to toss around ideas and topics in my head with you. And you know how I always WhatsApp you at 3 a.m. and you're still awake?
Oh, yeah, I never sleep. I'm always thinking at 3 o'clock in the morning, what can we add to the pod? Can we add another segment? Or I guess we're still trying to figure this out. If anyone is listening, you've got any ideas, want us to change anything up a bit, let us know. Definitely let us know, because we are so happy to change things up.
Yeah, we sure are. And that's actually a really perfect place to move on to introducing our secret cabin guest who we've got today and jump into what's popping. Okay, so today in What's Popping, I'm so excited because I've got my bestie here of 10 years and she's stepping into the hot seat today and she's going to serve up some skincare and nutrition truths with us today. She's a fellow Brit like me and she's been in the skincare industry for over 30 years. She's a skincare expert. She's a cosmetic chemist as well. And she's also, like me, a nutritional medicine practitioner. And honestly, look, Irene, doesn't she have the most beautiful skin? You can tell, like hands, face, neck, everything. Beautiful skin.
I was just thinking how inspirational she is. She's you are absolutely beautiful, every inside and out.
Absolutely, isn't she?
I'm blushing now.
She's also really smart too. So she's accredited everywhere from the Australian Society of Cosmetic Chemists to the British Dermatological Nursing Group. And one thing that we both have in common with each other is that we are both authors. So her book is called The Forensic Nutritionist. It's a great book. It's really interesting. And she's also the founder of a natural whole food ingestibles range called Vitasol, which you can find in all the leading skincare clinics across Australia and the UK. I take her omega-3 capsules. I love them for my inflammation and autoimmune. They've honestly been a lifesaver. I was over at her house recently and she's got the new cutest puppy called Olive. It's a bit of a nibbler. It's very, very cute. She's a chewer. I think she's already chewed through half of your research notes, right?
And of course, I know Fiona, you are such a rock star, Fiona. I love your books, your brand, your business. And I just asked you if I could stock your range of products in my store. And I was thinking, there's no way she's going to let me stock this range. This is probably, bricks and mortar only. How am I going to broach the subject with her? And she said I could. So I'm super excited.
I would be honoured. You are such a legend of really being particular in the products that you stock. So for me, that's an honour that you would stock our products because I'm really, really fussy when it comes to anything skincare, anything ingestible. So I know you appreciate these things.
I really so do. So as soon as I get back to the office, I'm going to start adding them to my store. Thank you.
Yay! Oh, what a great day.
Yeah, that's so exciting. So now that we've given you all the info about Fiona, let's share her with you. Fiona Tuck. Yay!
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 So today we're going to chat all things collagen because I know you're the queen of collagen and I've got some questions for you and it's a subject that I really want to know a lot more about as well. So my first question to you is I'm seeing wires light up that collagen's under a lot of scientific fire for efficacy at the moment. What's your forensic nutritionist research saying? Does it actually deliver or do you think it's overhyped?
It's a really interesting one because when it comes to the scientific efficacy, that's really strong. But there's a lot of, I would say, on social, a lot of negative commentary on collagen because simply people don't understand how it works. And I think a lot of people go, well, if you eat collagen, it's not going to just put collagen back in your skin. People think it's like, you know, eating toenails to grow toenails. Do you know what I mean? People just don't understand how it works. So when it comes down to the scientific evidence, that's actually incredible. It's really strong. You know, there's growing evidence to support the collagen claims from improving skin health to aiding sports recovery. And to give you an example, there was an in-depth systematic review and meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Dermatology that included 19 clinical trials, all of which were the gold standard trials, you know, the randomised, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trials.
Yeah.
These results showed consistent benefits of hydrolyzed collagen on, in particular, skin hydration, skin elasticity, skin density, and wrinkles. And marine collagen was the most studied. And so that, I mean, we'll talk about it later, I'm sure, but marine collagen tends to be my preference.
Right.
But that was the most common one that was used in the trials. And that was over a 1 to 3 month period. So there's some really strong evidence with collagen. I just think people just don't understand how it works. And when I'm talking collagen, I'm talking collagen peptides. And I'm sure we'll talk a bit about that later too.
Yeah, so you're saying it's good for hair, skin and nails, but what else can you tell us about it?
Well, when it comes to the studies, there's really good studies on skin. There's not really much on hair. Or even nails, but people that do take it do really claim that they do get the benefits from taking it for their hair and for their nails, and that would make sense because it does contain amino acids which would help, but there's not much actually for hair. But when it comes to the skin, particularly the marine peptides, that does show increased skin hydration and improved skin elasticity with the collagen peptides. But it does vary, Lise. It really does depend on the collagen that you're taking. It does really need to be in peptide form. And it does tend to vary on who's taking it. So, for instance, your age, your activity levels, your wound healing requirements, that will all depend on how much collagen you should be taking. So if you're not taking enough, you won't get the results. And that's my big issue with some of the brands that are out there. They don't actually put enough collagen in there to get the results.
Right.
So that's something that you do have to be a little bit wary of.
Is there something we can look out for, or how often do we take? I will say this about collagen. I'm on the fence as well on, you know, I find it hard to believe that you can eat something and then it turns into collagen. So I am a bit of a skeptic. However, when I take collagen, and it actually doesn't matter if I take marine collagen or if I just have like the bovine one, but when I take it consistently, if I say I go on these like special health diet things, like I'm going to do this every day, it's probably the 1st of January to the sort of 30th of January, but I notice a difference. Like I literally walk past a mirror and think, holy heck, I look good. Like I look 10 years younger, and it has to be the collagen. It must work.
It does work. I mean, there's real studies behind it. I mean, according to a study by the Journal of the Cosmetic Dermatology, collagen peptides reduce wrinkles by over 30% after 3 months. So there's good data to support it. And you can usually see visible results in the skin from between 6 to 12 weeks. But I've had plenty of people say to me, after 2 weeks they've seen a difference. And I know when I started taking it, I saw a difference after a couple of weeks. And I was one of those people that would say, collagen, oh, don't waste your money. Like, that's not going to do anything. You can't put collagen back in the skin by taking collagen. And it wasn't until I really researched how it works. And that's where people don't understand. And I really want to talk about that. And then I started taking it. I really saw really noticeable difference in the skin hydration. In my skin just felt sort of firmer and plumper, and I saw a huge difference in cellulite. And I'm a complete convert on collagen, and I used to be the biggest skeptic.
So how much were you taking though? So like, you got to be consistent, don't you? Is it once a day and a tablespoon in water, or like, what's the?
Yeah, so you need to be consistent, and I've researched a lot of different collagen products. So obviously, just full disclaimer, I have my own brand, Vitasoul, and we have collagen peptides. I work primarily in the skincare space. So for me, marine collagen does seem to get better results when it comes to improved skin elasticity and improved skin hydration. Both marine collagen peptides and bovine collagen peptides improve collagen density. So it helps to increase type 1 collagen and type 3 collagen, which is the main collagen that you find in the skin. So they both help, which is why, Irene, you're saying you've taken collagen and seen results.
Interestingly, I noticed the biggest results because I've done this in probably blocks of, 6 months at a time where I go on these stints, but I noticed the biggest one when it was marine collagen.
Yeah.
I've noticed that too.
I've looked at both and I've tried both, and I definitely do personally prefer marine collagen. The studies that with the collagen that I use says take 10 grams for the first 3 months, and then you can go down to a maintenance of 5 grams. Saying that, I'm in my 50s, I'm now 55. I take between 10 to 15 grams every day consistently. I had a minor op last year, so I took more for wound healing, up to 15 grams, which really helped. And now I basically take 2 or 3 teaspoons every day in coffee. I just add it to my coffee. So I have to say, the more collagen you take, the better. If you're only taking a very small amount, some products only have, 1 gram in there, 2 grams, you probably won't be getting much of a result from that.
So you've got to choose, one that has the right amount of collagen in it. I did also kind of want to ask you something too, because I do take it for skin and what have you, but one of my main things is that I have insulin resistance, and I also have like autoimmune issues. And obviously my gut's really good now, but I love to sort of take it for inflammation and autoimmune. Does it help there, or is that just marketing?
There are really promising studies now on collagen for a lot of different things, and one of them is insulin sensitivity. And that study was done with marine collagen peptides, and taking collagen for insulin sensitivity, it does seem to help to improve insulin sensitivity in individuals with insulin resistance. And that's because it tends to help monitor or stabilize blood sugar levels.
Yeah.
It helps to increase insulin sensitivity, and it helps to lower inflammatory cytokines as well. There seems to be an improvement when they've done the studies in the HbA1c, which is a marker that you test for. So, it's actually quite promising. There's also promising studies on gut health. So taking collagen peptides, both bovine and marine collagen, does help to upregulate the tight junctions in the gut. So that would actually help things. We would know that as leaky gut. So that actually helps with the integrity of the gut lining.
Yeah.
And interestingly, which I only found out a few years ago, collagen peptides can also work like prebiotics in the gut as well, which
Interesting.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, that is really amazing.
So can I just ask a question then, back on the how much do you take question again, because I'm obsessed with that, because I am really lazy and I'm really find it really hard to stay consistent. I have gut issues and I also want to look 10 years younger. Should I be taking both? Like marine and bovine?
No, you can just take the marine. You'll still get the results from it. It's
Right.
just that with the marine collagen peptides, they seem to show an improvement or superior when it comes to skin for elasticity and hydration, but they both Marine and Bovine help with collagen density, so and muscle recovery as well after sports and things like that.
Okay, so you could just have Marine.
Yes, you can, or you can take Bovine. So if, say, for instance, you're a really active person, Bovine tends to be a little bit more economical. It tends to be cheaper. So in that regard, you could just take Bovine collagen if you're not so worried about skin hydration and elasticity. You're still going to get a benefit for the collagen, and that's going to also help with muscle recovery as well. If you're a real athlete, then you probably want to take 10 to 15 grams of that every day.
Okay, I'm definitely not active, but marine collagen
Neither
is
am I.
definitely no. But marine collagen is a lot more expensive. Why is that?
It's just the availability of it. It's just the bovine collagen is more of a byproduct, so it's just cheaper.
Yeah, okay, and you got to go farm the fresh cod or whatever it comes from.
Well, the collagen that we use, I'm pedantic about purity and quality, and I've researched and tried a lot of different products. The collagen we use, it's the purest collagen in the world. It's wild-caught Norwegian fish. A lot of the marine collagen out there comes from either Chinese fish farms or Thai fish farms. They use tilapia fish, which personally I wouldn't want to take tilapia fish myself. And, each to their own, but I personally have a thing about farm fish, so I don't. Even my omegas are wild caught as well. I don't want to take farm fish if possible, so I don't.
Okay, so the Rolls Royce, because I'm asking for myself, I'm asking for a friend, the Rolls Royce of collagen peptides to knock 10 years off your face would be this wild caught fish from, where was it? Norway.
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 Look, I would say the gold standard is marine collagen peptides.
Okay.
The source is, it would be a bit like you saying, I'm going to have salmon for dinner. Should I have wild caught or farm fish? You're still having salmon for dinner. Do you know what I mean? It's just, if you're particular about where that salmon comes from, then I would say go for the wild caught Norwegian.
Yeah, I'm particular. Yeah, okay,
And
that makes sense.
speaking of like purity and things like that, I know some brands use quite high processing methods and they add these things and, fillers and fake flavors. And my personal worst, which is maltodextrin, it seems to be in everything
It's
at the
in
moment.
so
Oh my
many
goodness.
things and you hate it. My
I
customers
react
hate
to
it
it.
too. My
I
customers
react to it.
You react to it. Yeah, my
Yeah.
customers don't like it.
Yeah. And citric acid
And
is
I was about to
another
say,
one.
and citric acid.
I react really badly to that.
I mean, I sell products with both of those in it
Yeah.
because if I didn't, then I wouldn't have a very big range. But
Yeah.
I literally have a sort button now
Yeah.
for being able to shop without those two
Ah, that's
ingredients
good.
because
That's
so
good.
many customers don't want them.
Yeah, and I think because I've got mast cell activation, I really react to things like that. I wanted to ask you, Fiona, what are the ingredients that we should straight up avoid, especially in the collagens that, maybe some of them that are made overseas or what have you? Are there any particular ingredients that you would not recommend?
A lot of collagen powders are bulked out with maltodextrin, so you do need to read the label because they'll do that to actually reduce the amount of collagen that's being used. And it's a filler and it's a bulking agent, but it can affect blood sugar. It doesn't have a great effect on your gut either, especially if you have IBS.
Yeah.
Citric acid I don't have an issue with, but that's for another day.
Some people don't.
Well-
Lee does.
Well, it's
but,
processed
I
on
mean,
black mold, and I have a mold
But not
issue.
always.
No,
not
not
always.
Not
always.
always,
I mean-
but 90% of it, which from my research from this morning, 90% of it is the manufacturers put into products that are made. 90% of it is.
It's lemon juice. Isn't
It is lemon
Yeah,
juice.
so-
However, the one that is not lemon juice, not from citric, is actually built on black mold. And I have, like those little gummy bears with citric acid, and I literally start itching and I just break out.
Is there
in
any way
hives.
to know? Do you use citric acid, Fiona, in your formulations? And how do you know, where it comes from?
Not off the top of my head, I don't think we've got it in there, but it's an acidity regulator. It's very common in skincare.
Yeah, it's in so many
But
products.
it wouldn't be in. It's in such a tiny amount in skincare. We're really digressing here, guys. It's such a tiny amount in skincare. It wouldn't really be an issue. But quite often, it's whatever else is in there as well. And everybody's got different triggers as well. So for you, it
Yeah, and
Might
I
well
know
be
it's citric acid because I have other things with it. Things like, the sugar-free ginger beer. That's got citric acid. Even potato chips have citric acid in them. There are a couple of brands. One doesn't, one does. I have the one with citric acid, I start itching. I have the other one, I'm fine. So and they've only got 3 ingredients, oil, potatoes, and citric acid. So I definitely know it's that. Speaking of collagen, I did want to ask, obviously our body creates collagen and makes it naturally. What do you think, Fiona, are the best ways to ramp it up through food and lifestyle? Is it eating more things like bone broth and vitamin C rich foods? Would that help as well?
Your body makes collagen. It needs a variety of different nutrients. So it needs amino acids, particularly glycine, proline. It needs vitamin C. So you need your vitamin C rich foods, berries. But it also needs things like magnesium. It needs iron, zinc. So really eating a well-balanced diet is going to help to give you those nutrients. If somebody is chronically deficient in iron, for instance, you will see that affect their collagen by having very flabby skin.
So you can notice, I know you're the forensic nutritionist, so you can actually, when you see your clients, you can look at them, and if you're looking at something like dark under the eyes or cellulite or flabby sort of skin under the arms, is that a nutritional kind of deficiency, would you say?
It can be. But with vitamin C, for instance, that does affect collagen because we need vitamin C for the hydroxylation of collagen. It forms hydroxyproline, so nice, strong collagen. With vitamin C, when you're deficient in vitamin C, you get scurvy. And one of the signs of scurvy is, you get bleeding gums, you get dilated capillaries, your teeth start to fall out. So to be deficient in vitamin C, you would technically have scurvy. But most of us have enough of those nutrients in our diet for us to be able to effectively make collagen. And I think, that's a really good point, because when you take collagen as a supplement, it's in the form of peptides. So it's been processed so that collagen, which is what we normally call native collagen, that would be the collagen that you find in, say, bone broth, that's not the same as taking a collagen supplement. So I do hear people say things like, I'm going to take bone broth because it's really good for collagen. Depending on how that bone broth is manufactured or made at home, yes, it can have a good amount of collagen, but some might not. It depends how the quality of the bone broth that you make.
I understand.
But that's native collagen.
I don't understand because I'm really glad we brought this up.
Yeah.
So are you saying when we drink bone broth or we add bone broth to soup or whatever, that's not peptided?
Correct.
Oh, right. So, and when we take it as a supplement, it's peptided.
Yes.
Okay. So how do you peptide collagen?
Exactly. So when you take collagen in bone broth, hoping your bone broth has got collagen in it, depends how you make it, that will be what we call native collagen. So the size of the collagen has not been broken down, if you like. So it's a very large molecule. And to give you an example, it would be the size of what we call the size of that molecule. It would be 300,000 or 300K Daltons, right? So it's a very large molecule. Your body can't absorb that. So it has to be absorbed, broken down into amino acids. Those amino acids then get utilized by the body to manufacture proteins and things like collagen. The unique thing of native collagen, which you would get from, for instance, bone broth, it does contain the unique amino acid hydroxyproline. Now, hydroxyproline is what we need for, is what vitamin C makes.
Yeah.
So we need vitamin C for hydroxyproline for collagen. That is why, even if there have been studies done, even if we take unhydrolyzed collagen or collagen that is native, that is not in peptide form, we do still see a benefit on things like joints and collagen production. And it may just be because we're getting the amino acids and we're getting the very unique hydroxyproline. That's unique to collagen. And that is why collagen supplements work even without vitamin C, because vitamin C is needed for hydroxyproline, but we have that anyway in the collagen. So you don't have to have vitamin C in a collagen supplement.
So how do we make a good peptide bone broth? Can you make one?
No.
You can't make one.
No, you can't. So peptides, that is what you buy with a collagen supplement.
So you're adding some powder, because I don't want the body to have to work. I just want to get the years off my face as fast as possible.
Yeah, so you need the peptides.
So you need the peptides. You could add peptide powder to your bone broth though, Lee.
Yes.
Couldn't you?
You could add it to your food, right?
Because it's okay to
Put
get
it in
heat.
your smoothie.
It's heat stable, isn't it?
It's heat stable, and that's the other thing. People go, oh, but the heat's going to denature it. Well, the peptides are already denatured. That's what peptides are. They're denatured collagen. So what happens with collagen peptides, marine collagen, bovine collagen, it goes through a process, and it's usually either an acid process, an alkaline process, or an enzyme process, or all of it, to actually denature that protein or denature that collagen and break it down into small peptides. So the best way I can describe it is collagen has got a triple helix structure, and think of that like 3 strands that are all intertwined like a piece of rope. When it goes through, when it's hydrolyzed into peptides, those strands are unwound and then chopped up into very small fragments. So then we have collagen peptides. Those peptides now, when we ingest them, they are, some of them, absorbed through the gut, through what we call the PEPT1 transporter. They then travel in the bloodstream. They work as chemical signaling agents. So they signal the fibroblast cell to produce more collagen, type 1 collagen, type 3 collagen, and hyaluronic acid. The rest of it gets absorbed via the gut, and we absorb those amino acids and utilize those for collagen production as well.
That's a really good way to look at it,
So
actually. I love that breakdown.
When you take just a steak, you might not be getting the right amino acids, and you're definitely not having the same effect. You're not having that cell signaling action. So they're signaling molecules, peptides. They're peptides, and that's what people don't understand with collagen
It's really,
products.
really good to know. Finally, Fiona, we'd love you, because you're such a great forensic nutritionist. I'd love you to pop your lab coat on and give us any final NCIS Palm Beach views on collagen. Any new stuff you want to talk about? Anything that you want to debunk?
I think when it comes to collagen, you've really got to look at the amount that you're taking. So my advice is take between 5 to 10 grams daily. If you're going for the bovine collagen, I would always recommend going for the grass-fed over the grain-fed.
And also looking at those additional ingredients, right?
Looking at the additional ingredients, which we didn't really, we talked about maltodextrin, but there's also preservatives, polysorbate, there's more emulsifiers, there's gums.
Yeah.
And, when it comes to things like the packet collagen, individual packets, they're usually in a liquid form. Now, anything in a liquid form, that usually then will have to have something like an emulsifier. A
stabilizer.
It will have to have preservatives. So I would always recommend going for the powder, because the powder has to be added to a liquid.
Yeah.
So it's still a liquid. It's still going to get absorbed.
Yeah.
You don't have to have it already in a liquid. So just be careful of those, because then they'll have added flavors, and they'll have a lot of extra additives. So
How about these flavours? Can we just talk about flavours to avoid and also sweeteners to avoid? So I sell some products with stevia in it, for example. I would never sell anything with sucralose. How do you say
Sucralose.
Sucralose, which is like a fake sugar. I know other people sell powders with that in it. So, and you would think in a natural product you wouldn't have fake sugars. So what are we looking for there?
Yeah, there are a lot, actually. So stevia, there's different types of stevia, just to be clear on that. So the stevia that I would use would be the organic green leaf stevia. It's literally a dried up leaf. But then you've got the ultra-processed stevia that you need to be careful of.
That's the white one you see in the little
And that tends to
capsules,
have
right?
additives, and that can actually have things like maltodextrin
They
added
mix
to
it with erythritol, like other things, don't they?
Same with monk fruit. Monk fruit on its own is great, but be careful. I picked up a packet of monk fruit the other day in the supermarket. I looked at the back, and it was 1% monk fruit. It was called monk fruit, but there was only 1% monk fruit in it, and the rest was erythrit.
That makes me mad. That makes me,
Erythritol.
that makes me so angry. That's a rant episode.
That's an absolute rant. So you've got to be really careful. You're not always getting what you think you're getting.
Yeah.
So it's about reading labels, but then again, I'm also about not being too paranoid about reading labels, because you've got to enjoy life, and the more you stress about things, the more anxiety it's going to create.
I agree.
So You've got to be careful.
Well, that was so
balanced.
interesting, Fiona. Oh my goodness, I learned so much about collagen. It was fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. I mean, I could go on for 2 more hours talking about this.
I know we're going to have you back as well. We've got some more segments
I'm
coming
going
up.
to take this offline as well. I need you to look at my face and tell me what nutrients are. What do the dark circles mean?
Actually, you can tell a lot by looking at someone's face, what nutrients they need and what
Yeah, I
they-
find that
I
fascinating.
love that. They do that in Ayurveda as well.
Yeah.
They look at the eyes, the tongue. Yeah. So next up we have Womansplain, where we splain health and beauty to the man in your life. And we have our producer Justin in the cabin today. He's got a question for us. Do you?
I do. Hi, Fiona, Lee, and Irene. I'm in the presence of greatness. So I have a daily smoothie around 3 o'clock, and it's meant to be healthy. So what do you think about it, and how can I mix it up a bit? Nothing too esoteric, but practical and yum. So I'll take you through the ingredients. It's chocolate coconut water, kind of addicted, oat milk, which is Aldi's, peanut butter or some kind of nuts I've got, a handful of spinach, jelly beans, Lee's gut powder, and frozen banana.
Do you really put jelly beans in there? I don't know if you're joking or not. It's actually something I do on a 4 o'clock. But
I can't be in the same room with somebody that puts jelly beans in their smoothie.
Fair enough. That was just a red herring, so you can.
You're just checking we were listening, were you?
Yeah, I used to put
attention.
red herrings in, but I've now put in. jelly beans.
Okay, so let's assume that there's no jelly beans in this smoothie, Fiona and Lee. What do you think from a nutritional perspective?
I'll kick off. I think it's a good start, but it kind of sounds a little bit like a dessert in disguise. I think we can do better with just a few little tweaks. Like the chocolate coconut water can sometimes have added cane sugar in it. So I would just go with maybe just plain coconut water, and once you've added your banana and then oat milk, which the oat milk sometimes have a lot of those emulsifiers and things in them, it kind of becomes more milkshakey, and you might get that insulin spike. So I'd either go with like plain filtered water or half coconut water, half filtered water, and then add in some cacao powder instead of having like that chocolate coconut water, because cacao powder is really good. And you can also, instead of having the oat milk with a lot of the other stuff in it, you can just throw in a handful of oats, like organic oats, and then blend it up. And also maybe just add some nuts instead of the peanut butter, because maybe I've read and I've noticed with peanuts, there can be mold on them. What do you guys think?
I think, again, it's all about how much you have and what else you eat. But, yeah, peanuts can contain what we call aflatoxins. So if you're having a lot of them, they can contain mold. But, again, a little bit now and again is fine. But if you're having it every day, mix it up. I didn't even know there was anything I didn't know chocolate coconut water even existed.
Oh, it does, and it's really good. It's so good. It's probably not very healthy.
No.
for me, is
Well,
it?
I'm not a big coconut water fan either, because that can have, quite a lot of sugar in. So I would go with Lee and sort of have water if you can, and have a tablespoon of rolled oats and blend those up. I'm not a fan of oat milk either, because it's highly processed. It can spike your blood sugar. It tends to have gums that can be quite inflammatory to the gut. So I think, could you do something like an A2 milk or something that's easier to digest to get the calcium in?
I guess I could. I just don't like milk.
You don't
Dairy,
like
yeah. So, but I think putting oats in is a great idea.
Yeah, you could do
The,
cheaper
the
and
other
easier.
option, put a tablespoon of Greek yogurt in there as well, because you'll be getting more protein.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And also, like with your spinach in there, it's good to have some greens in there. It's going to give you the iron and the energy. And
Well, spinach is my go-to green.
yeah,
In fact, it's I can say it's I can't really say I have greens in my diet. It's a singular. I only have spinach, but it's a start.
yeah.
It's a good start. I'm all for diversity and trying to mix it up and have different greens, because if you have the same thing all the time, you tend to overdose on the same nutrients, and also what we can call anti-nutrients as well. So the more you mix things up, the more diversity you're getting, and it's going to be better for your health in general.
I agree. And sometimes I throw rocket instead of spinach in mine, because sometimes like too many oxalates for me, I get a bit like inflammatory. So I love Rocket because it's antihistamine, and it tastes all right when you bung it in. And then I also add a little bit of coriander. I find that
Oh
nice.
wow, you like a little peppery.
I like a bit of spice.
You like a little bit
This
of a peppery
smoothie
spicy
starting to taste really disgusting. But I was already going to say, before you added those very I don't know how I would describe Rocket, bitter leaves in there. I was already going to say, this doesn't sound very sweet. We've come from a really nice, forget the jelly beans for a minute, but we've come from a really nice, sweet, milkshakey smoothie to something that sounds a bit more.
Yeah.
Where are we getting
tooth.
some sweetness? Can we put some maple? I know we've got a little bit of banana. Can we put some maple syrup in there or something?
Yeah, I think we've got to move on before kale comes into the conversation.
We have. So let's go with some Greek yogurt. Let's go with a tablespoon of oats. Let's go with your banana. That will give you the sweetness. You could always put a little bit of honey if you wanted sweetness.
Yeah, raw honey.
Okay, fine. We need something. A little bit of raw teaspoon of raw honey in there, Justin.
Okay, thank you. That sounds doable, but I can't remember all the elements.
Look, I'm way ahead of you, Justin. I have splained the smoothie and it's in the show notes.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Fiona. Thanks, Irene.
So next, you're on speaker.
All right, let's get our lovely listener onto the speaker. Today we've got Marrianne who slid into our Insta DMs. Hello, Marrianne. You are on speaker with Lee and Irene and Fiona today.
Nice, thanks for having me.
So, Marrianne, first I have to ask you, what is your superpower?
My superpower are words.
Words.
Words? Are you a writer?
I'm a writer.
You're a writer?
I'm a writer.
Wow. What do you write? I want to know. Like fiction, non-fiction?
Mostly fiction.
Wow.
The marketing and advertising.
Oh, you're in advertising and marketing. Well, that's definitely fiction then.
Exactly. It's not fact.
So how are you going today? Is there anything in your world that you would like to chat with us about today?
Yes. Look, my daughter's recently gone off to uni and she's finding it really hard to sleep. So, yeah, she really struggles with it. And I just thought you both might have a sort of really good approach to that we can try.
Yeah, well, sleep struggles at uni. We do hear that a lot. I guess you do too, Fiona, in your clinic. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we need to find out why she can't sleep, and there can be numerous reasons for that. So we would really need to understand, is she stressed? What might be going on with her? Is she tired but wired at night? It might mean that her cortisol levels are high, or it could just be that it's poor sleep hygiene. Is she going to bed late? Is she looking at her computer screen late at night? There can be a lot of things going on there.
Can I just jump in here and say I have a 19-year-old daughter who is at uni, and I can tell you straight away what the issue is, and it's going to be the blue light from the phone. The phone, and this is such a struggle with even myself, but you have to have a hard stop on when you're putting that phone onto night mode and onto, off altogether. I mean, I keep mine on in case there's an emergency overnight, but a 19-year-old shouldn't need it on at all. Turn it off, put it on flight mode, keep the alarm going, but that has just got to get turned off, and the room has to be completely black. If you can't get the room to be completely black with blackout curtains, out eye mask. There's a really great one. There's only one really amazing blackout mask. It's called Mantra. It's from a brand called Mantra Sleep, and it is, as soon as I put mine on, I can just go to sleep anywhere. It's a complete blackout. It's amazing. So block out all the light and turn off the mobile phone. That should do the trick.
Okay. No, that's great advice. Thank you. I have to say, as a lot of young people, I guess, around her age, even if she's watching something on TV and she's here, she's actually at the same time on the mobile phone, flicking through, all sorts of, social media. So that would definitely be overstimulating her in that time before she goes to bed.
Yeah, the other trick with that is blue light blocking glasses as well. If she has to be on the phone, it's such an easy fix. Just put the blue light blocking. There's lots of them around. Put them on, and that does something. I think just scientifically. Does anyone know there's a science behind your brain?
Well, the blue light exposure can really interfere with melatonin and melatonin production, and it can make it harder to actually fall asleep, I think.
And just light in general. So even when she comes home, at night time, I always dim the lights. So you want the lights dimmed. You don't want bright lights. You've got to lower that light to help produce that melatonin.
I feel like that would also help with the nervous system regulation, right? Having like that environment. Would you say that too?
Absolutely. I mean, I turn my phone off at 6 o'clock every night. Otherwise, I'm looking and then I get worked up at what I've got to do. So she might be, getting stressed about study and what she's got to do there. And the other big thing that is worth mentioning that will really affect sleep quality is alcohol.
Yeah. Do they have like alcohol, Marrianne, in the dorms at uni?
Not in the dorms, not officially, but, there's certainly a lot of socialising that goes on. So she's actually not really a big drinker.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that, but, it could be, maybe it's blood sugar.
What's her diet like?
Her diet's pretty good. I think her diet's really good. And, I think actually a lot of it's probably anxiety and stress. Definitely overstimulation.
And just making sure, if you were saying about blood sugar, if your blood sugar drops quite low at nighttime, that can actually wake you up. So making sure she's not going to bed hungry, making sure she's getting enough protein in the diet, even having things like milk, which can contain glycine, bananas for tryptophan, they can always really help with melatonin. Bananas can as well. So just making sure she's eating the right foods as well to get the right hormone production.
Yeah, and also maybe like a magnesium powder, or what about a magnesium salt bath, something like that.
Or a magnesium hot chocolate.
A magnesium hot chocolate.
I'm a huge fan of magnesium.
Yeah.
Which is the best magnesium? Is it glycinate, Fiona, to have at night?
Yeah, so when there's all different forms of magnesium, so the magnesium to help you sleep would be magnesium glycinate or biglycinate, and that's basically magnesium oxide that's had glycine added to it, and that helps to calm the brain and calm the system.
It's easy on the tummy, that one too, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, magnesium in general, depending on what form, can actually even act as a laxative. So it will affect the gut, but magnesium glycinate tends to be more gentle,
Okay.
yes.
And you can try a cream. I know for my son, he's 15, he has growing pains, and I use a magnesium cream on his legs, and I'm telling you, we both fall asleep. What do you think about that transdermal?
So the transdermal magnesium, there doesn't seem to be much science or studies behind it, and people say, that doesn't work, it's not proved. But I can tell you, even from my own usage, I love the magnesium oils and the creams, and I do find they benefit. So I'm a big believer in, be guided by the evidence, but don't be blinded by it. And if it works for you, then go for it.
Yeah, I love that. It definitely works for us.
Yeah, I find it really works too. Oh, and actually a little tip that I learned in China about 20 years ago is always keep your feet warm. So warm feet helps you have a good sleep. So particularly in the cooler months, I always have a heat pack on my feet, and that will always get me off to sleep.
I
So
wear socks.
don't have cold feet.
Speaking of temperature, that's really interesting. I read that your room needs to be cold. So does that not?
Yeah, so you want to be cool. So if you're
Okay.
overheated, you're not going to sleep well. But if you have cold feet, that will affect your sleep. You want to warm feet, because if you think it sort of helps circulation go down, so you're just going to help to calm yourself and sleep well. But if your feet are cold, you don't sleep as well. But
So-
you don't have to be in a fridge.
So dark. I am in a fridge, and then I put lots of blankets on top. But
Yeah,
that's
so
how
your feet are warm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so that's how I like to sleep.
I do like one leg in, one leg out to regulate my temperature. So I'm not too hot or too cold, but I'm like nearly 60, so I'm going into menopause.
And then you shake it all about.
Exactly. Does that help, Marrianne?
Does it? Look, particularly I love the ideas around the blue light, obviously, and the magnesium as well. I hadn't even thought about that, and some of the diet, and is she eating enough protein to, have a consistency, so she's not waking up in the middle of the night hungry. But the thing about the feet, my daughter and I both, she has Raynaud's disease, which is Viking's disease. I don't know whether any of you have heard of that. Right, it's bad circulation, cold hands, cold feet.
Yep.
Now, so that's a hot tip. I'm definitely going to tell her to
bed socks.
wear socks.
Yeah, well, it works because I have Raynaud's too, so I can appreciate what she's going through. So always have your feet warm.
Great tips. So hopefully that helps your daughter with a few tools to try out. And we'd love to hear how she goes over the next few weeks. So feel free to call in again, Marrianne. It's been so great to have you on the pod. All right, we've come to that really fun part of the show where we introduce a 60-second rant or rave. And because we've got the delightful Fiona here today, I thought I'd hand it over to you. Do you have any rant or rave, anything kind of firing you up or calming you down at the moment?
I have a lot of things that make me angry, Lee.
You're in the right place for that.
Don't we all?
Oh, look, there's so many things, and I'm trying to think what would be something that grinds my gears. It would be things where people, because social media, where you have so many people that think they're experts, and they comment on, I know maybe they're not nutritionists, but then they will comment and give nutrition advice, or people that will comment on an ingredient but don't take into consideration the whole formula and will take that ingredient, go, don't have that, that's bad, without understanding the nuances and understanding why that's in there and how much is in there. So people that don't really know what they're talking about but are pretending they do, and then maybe they've read something that the particular ingredient is bad, but then they don't understand any more than that, so they don't understand how much is in a formulation or the rest of a formulation.
It kind of, it sounds to me like, during COVID and everyone became immunologists.
Oh, it drives me insane. So I'll give you an example. How can I explain it? When people go, don't have gluten, it's bad. And they don't, and so they'll avoid gluten because they think it's really bad. But there's gluten and there's gluten. So my point being, yes, gluten, if you ate it in isolation, it can have a negative effect on the gut, right? But we don't eat it in isolation. But if you have gluten with, say, a rye sourdough, it's not going to have a negative effect because the polyphenols from the rye, for instance, are going to have a positive effect, and they're going to cancel out any negative effects of the gluten. Does that make sense?
And the fibre as well.
And the fibre. So it's about really sort of being a little bit of a detective and having critical thinking rather than just making these blanket statements about things without knowing what you're really talking about. That drives me insane.
Yeah, I hear you.
Does that mean I can have gluten again? That's
Yes.
because I've been avoiding it. I'm not even celiac.
You're not?
I'm not celiac.
You just did a test, didn't you?
I just did a test because I thought I was feeling a bit tired after my cakes and biscuits. But are you saying that it might have been the other ingredients in the cakes and biscuits and not the gluten?
It may have been the other ingredients. I mean, when it comes to gluten, if you're celiac, then of course you can't have it. But quite often it's actually the fructose and it's in the wheat. And most people tend to react more to the wheat than to the gluten. And so it all just sort of gets wrapped up and people say don't have gluten. But if you have all gluten-free diet, there have been studies that these people don't live as long because they're not getting the fibre and they're having all these ultra-processed foods instead. So you've got to be careful. It's the same as going dairy-free. If you're then having all these ultra-processed plant milks with the gums and the fillers and the emulsifiers, they can be way more inflammatory. And dairy is not necessarily inflammatory. It depends. If you've got an intolerance, it can be. But there are a lot of options. You can have things like Greek yogurt that isn't such an issue.
I love dairy.
You can have milks that are lower in lactose. So you can't just sort of put everything in the same bucket and say don't touch it. There's a lot of nuances.
There really is. And so what do you want to say last thing to these wannabe experts, Fiona?
Well, there's a saying which I've forgotten, so I can't say that saying but basically they call it the Dunning-Kruger effect, and a little bit of knowledge is dangerous because then you think you know everything. And I think it's about, we need to ask more questions, we need to do more research, we need to stop taking everything in isolation and look at everything as a whole. And to give you an example, people will say, oh, I'm going to take vitamin C and I want the more the better, 1,000 milligrams. Just have an orange, because you're going to get vitamin C, you're going to get bioflavonoids, you're going to get folic acid, or your folate, should I say. You're going to get all these cofactors and nutrients and fibre rather than an isolated nutrient. Because if you take an isolated nutrient, you are going to have side effects. Mega doses of synthetic vitamin C can increase oxalate production, for instance.
Absolutely.
So if you have joint issues, it may not be so good. We also know that mega doses can actually downregulate your body's own ability to produce its own antioxidant defense systems, because you're relying on the external antioxidants. So it's not just as simple as taking a mega dose isolate. And I'm always very wary of that, people following trends and, let's take this now and let's take that. You really need to go back to basics.
And listen to your body, and like you say, eat a whole piece of fruit, whole foods, back to basics, isn't it?
Listen to your body. You can't pop a pill or out exercise an unhealthy diet. And a lot of people think they're having a healthy diet when in fact it's not healthy. I mean, if you go down the health food aisle in a supermarket, it's all ultra processed food. It's not healthy at all.
And we're doing an episode on that soon. I'm so excited to do that episode. Thank you so much for being here today, Fiona. It's been so enlightening. It's been amazing to have you on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, Fiona. Thank you so much. That was super interesting.
So that's a wrap for episode 3. Oh, massive heartfelt thank you to the magnificent Fiona Tuck for her time and her incredible expertise, and also her general loveliness. Honestly, I feel like we've just had a masterclass. If you want to follow Fiona's Instagram, she's a must follow, Fiona Tuck Nutrition Skin.
We'll put that in the show notes. She was amazing. Well, that was great. Another unfiltered episode. How great was all of that information on collagen? I knew a lot about collagen, but even I learnt so much. But it really inspired me to actually take it more often and consistently. And now I know exactly how much to take. And I think I'm going to go for unflavoured and not flavoured and simple marine collagen. I think that's what I'm going to kick that off. I'm going to kick that off after this episode, and we'll see how I go in a few weeks' time. See if I've knocked 10 years off my face.
Absolutely. And on the lighter side of things, we explained Justin's smoothie situation to him as well, didn't we?
And a huge shout out to Marrianne. That was great. It was really great to discuss her daughter. I know heaps of our listeners are going to have teenagers that can't sleep.
Yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it? And so if you did love this session as much as we did, I'd love you to just do us a little massive favor. Hit that follow button and leave us a review with all the stars in the sky. It helps other wellness seekers find us too.
And it really helps us fight the big boys as well, and I'm all about that. And don't be a stranger. Follow us on Instagram at Wellness Unfiltered Lee Irene. That was a mouthful, but that will be in the show notes. And drop us a line, send us some feedback, or if you've got a burning question you want to be on the air, definitely add a comment or send that through on an email. We love hearing from you.
And for those of you wanting to dive deeper, today's nutritionist nerd notes are ready for you. Just head to your favorite podcast platform to grab all the details.
Bye. Mwah.
Wellness Unfiltered is a production of Clean Nectarine Proprietary Limited and Supercharged Food Proprietary Limited. It is hosted by Lee Holmes and Irene Falcone, with editing and technical support by Justin Smidmore. You can listen to each episode on your favourite pod platform or on Substack at wellnessunfilteredpod.com. Wellness Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute medical, health, legal or financial advice. The views expressed are personal opinions of the hosts and guests and do not represent the views of Clean Nectarine or supercharged food. This podcast does not establish a doctor-patient or other professional relationship. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your health or treatment.